Well, good evening, everyone. I want to definitely welcome you to the John G. Jones Show, Masonic Research Lodge number 147. So I know I'm coming on about 30 minutes late tonight, but got to enjoy life sometimes. So definitely want to send everyone a big shout out if you begin to tune in. I'm looking forward to the show, and I think we're going to have a great time tonight. It's going to be very interesting on Hey, it's just going to be an interesting show tonight. We're going to be talking about 666 and Freemasonry. 666 and Freemasonry. How does all of that come into play? Where does that come into play at? And the phone lines is definitely going to be open tonight. The number is going to be 619-286-0642. So we're going to get right into this. And this number 666, we've heard so much about it, and everything, and what it's about, the mark of the beast and how that comes into play. You know, um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking at it from a whole nother perspective. Greetings, brothers that are coming in. I'm looking at the number 666 from a whole different perspective. I'm not afraid of the number 666, supposing to be the mark of the beast. When I understand what the mark of the beast is and who is the beast, then I'm able to understanding a little bit more. And a lot of times, those of us who are involved with Freemasonry and understanding the system of Freemasonry, the hidden mysteries of Freemasonry, the symbols of Freemasonry, has meaning. Listen to me clearly. The emblems and symbols that we have as Masons, that we indulge ourselves in, have meaning. Okay, one meaning is that it's esoteric, and then there's esoteric. I've spoken about this before. One being that it is more relative to those in the public, and the other meaning is that it is mostly understood by those who practice Freemasonry and who have been initiated into the arts and science of Freemasonry. And I say arts and science because if you are a fellowcraft degree, if you have your fellowcraft degree, or that a person who is a fellowcraft Mason, you truly understand that, or you should be indulging yourself in the arts and sciences of Freemasonry. And when you can't do that and understand that, then there's an issue, because most people who are Freemasons don't indulge themselves in Freemasonry in the sense of the works and understanding the symbolism. A lot of people just join Freemasons and say, "Well, I'm a Freemason. I'm good," but you're not necessarily good because you don't even understand what you're a part of. A lot of individuals don't, and that is something that I would hope that we will be able to really get into and understand. You know, and it doesn't always happen that way. It really doesn't always happen that way, where people become Masons and Eastern Stars included, and even understand that. I mean, when you look at the star and how it's positioned as an Eastern Star, and understanding that, can you actually break that down for someone who's actually interested in becoming a member? And the same thing goes for a brother who's a member of the Freemasons. Can you actually break that down? Can you actually talk to someone in regards to Freemasonry and what it is versus what it is not? Can you do that? I mean, literally, can you do that? And we have to really take a better look at Freemasonry and what it is, and how can we, as individuals who are members, be able to talk about Freemasonry without divulging what we would consider secrets in regards to Freemasonry. And tonight we're going to talk about something that is interesting as far as the 666 and Freemasonry. So I'm going to start off from this point of view. When you think of 666, for those of us who may be of the Christian faith or any other faith, we usually think of that of the mark of the beast. What is this mark of the beast? This thing right here we consider the mark of the beast. I mean, it's interesting. It's very much so interesting, but we have to find out what is it really all about. Because if you're talking to someone who has melon skin, so you're talking 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, 666. Okay, so and then you're looking at a diamond. Okay, a diamond which is precious. I mean, if you diamonds, which is made out of coal, coal has the compound of everything that is made up of melon. You know, a piece of coal has it all, and we have to take a look at that. Hello,
Hey.
hey,
Um, you call me or the mom call me? Hello.
I got it,
Hmm?
I got it. Yeah, how can I help you?
You called me?
No, I didn't call you.
Oh, so mom wants to call me.
Okay, yeah, check that out. Give her a call on her phone.
Oh, she was just on the phone.
Hold on. All right. Okay. So what I'm saying is this. I had to take care of that. I had to take care of that. But what I'm saying is we really have to consider the 666, what it is and compare it to Freemasonry. I just spoke about the six neutrons, six electrons, and six neutrons. Neutrons, electrons, protons. All right, 666. Now, how does that relate in regards to Freemasonry? And when you're in the fellowcraft degree, you should be able to break that down because in the fellowcraft degree, you have been initiated into this rites, and you must understand the arts and the science behind that in the second degree. I won't too much go into that part because I feel that when you are a fellowcraft mason, that is something you really should indulge yourself in because within the fellowcraft degree, it breaks down all degrees in Freemasonry. It really does. It truly does. But what happens is, for those of us who have been initiated into this thing, we tend to bypass the fellowcraft degree to get to the master mason degree. But what if you're not able to master your inner apprentice and fellowcraft, then it's for naught. It's really for naught. So we must understand that whole concept, that whole construct when we are being initiated into this thing we call Freemasonry. Right? So as I said before, and then when you begin to like really challenge yourself on the symbolism of Freemasonry and indulge in the footnotes in some of these books that you read, it may necessarily frighten some of you. I will say that. It may just do that to some, you know. That's what I've definitely come across. That's what I've gotten. And I know most people say, no, that's not so. That's not true. But let me tell you this. If you have a Duncan's look to the east, read some of the footnotes. You know, what is this phone number to call? Give me just a second. That phone number, I'm going to give you another number you can call. You can call 619-985-1184 would be the phone number to call tonight for just a few minutes. I'm going to put it up here for you if you don't have it, 985-1184. If you really want to get into this conversation, you're welcome to call that number right there. All right? So, and I want to, Brother Lewis, thank you. It is. The fellowcraft is the best degree. Because a lot of us think that when you have made it a master mason, that you have really done something. Nah, you haven't done anything. I will say I enjoy the master mason degree. But that fellowcraft degree opens you up to something. It opens you up to the totality of Freemasonry and what it is. But a lot of us miss that trying to get to the Master Mason degree. At one time in this thing, there was only 2 degrees, which was the Inter Apprentice and Fellowcraft. After which, once you have mastered those 2 degrees, you was considered a Master Mason. That's what you was considered. Okay? But we're going to get back on tonight talking about the 666 and how it relates to Freemasonry. So let's take a look at this thing we call 666. Okay, so what is the beast? The mark is 666. The letter 6 is related to FOX. Okay? A sly, which is a fox. Okay? Which is a fox. Which I can say is considered to be a sly and cunning animal. One to be feared. Whereas the beast, okay, so let's look at this number. 3 times 6 is 18, right? Then you have the 9. The 9 represents humanity, all right? There is, let me see, 9 represents humanity. There is a beast in every one of us. So if 9 represents humanity, and we know that in each one of us there is a beast. Okay, we know this. This is a known fact that in each man, woman, boy, or girl, there is a beast that is waking, that is waiting to be awakened. Period. You know how sometimes we often say, "Hey, you don't make me lose my religion. You don't want to see the other side of me." You hear us talk about that, don't you? You don't want to see that side of me. Because each one of us know that there's a beast that is waiting to be awakening. Because none of us know what we are capable of doing, you know. So we see that, we look at that, and that's what you have to consider. So when you talk about the mark of the beast and what it's really all about, this is where you at. This is where you go to, you know. That mark, that beast, that mark, that beast lies in each one of us. The process is, what are you going to do with it? How do you learn to subdue that passion? How do you learn to subdue that beast? Because the beast lies within each one of us, you know. And I'm quite sure that we're all familiar with it. I'm quite sure we all know about it. You know, the thing I like to say is, what do we do about it? If you know it's in you, what do you do about it? We often say that we should occupy our minds with useful knowledge. So what is that useful knowledge that you occupy your mind with? What are you doing with it? How are you subduing that beast? What are you doing with it? Because trust and believe me, if we allow that beast to get up, it can definitely harm people. And this is why in the fellowcraft degree, you have the arts, the science, you have everything that someone would need in order to get through this thing called life. Whether it be the liberal arts, whether it be understanding the 5 senses, that's included too. Okay, now when you're able to understand the 5 senses, then you're elevating yourself. Okay, from the lower parts, because the lower part of man is the beastly part of man. This is why in masonry we have the flap turned up, okay, as representing the higher part of the man, and the flap turned down, which represents the lower part of the man. This is why you find the triangle, when we turn it up, it's in equal parts, it's pointing upward. Then you flip it down, it's representing the lower part of the man. If you don't believe me, I will want you to do your own research and begin to look at this for yourself. I tell everybody that. So nobody can come back and say, well, what is this guy talking about? He's talking off the chain. No, I'm not. So when we look at the number 9, which represents humanity, there is a beast in every one of us. It is important to add here that the abstract translation from the Greek is counting the numbers of the beast. It is from the number of man. The number of beast represents the number of man. Okay? The number of beast represents the number of man, not necessarily a physical 666, but more of a spiritual 666, and that is representing that lower part of the man, that beastly part of yourself, you know. So once again, if you want to call in tonight, that number is going to be 619-286-06. Hey Q357, what's up, brother? I appreciate you. How you doing tonight? No doubt about it. Someone just put 666 is the number of Solomon, equal 9, 3, 5, and 7. All right, well, come on, talk to me tonight about that then. If you want to call into the show tonight, that number is going to be 619-985-1184. Some of you may have that number, some of you may not. I've already posted it, so if you want to call in, that's the number to call in. Don't be shy now. This is not the time to be shy. This is not that type of show. You know, this is open to one and all, you know. So we're going to go on. Okay, so we knowing that it represents the lower part of man. 6 represents the womb also. The 4, tummy. The mortal world. The mark of the beast is nothing more than man, lower nature. All right. The 6 is hieroglyphics for the knowledge of good and evil. Okay. Encircled in the material world emphasizes all the worldly desires of the body. All that is part of the animal nature is not spiritual. It is not the spiritual counterpart. Okay? So when you desire all of that of the world. It is not representative of your spiritual part. Okay, so let's take a look at this. When Christ was talking to the disciples, and he said that um, he wanted to go and be by himself. And when he departed from them, they went on their way across the waters, right? So if you look at this, this is all on an esoteric level. And I say that because when most people read the Bible, they're looking at it from a physical point of view. That Christ walked on water. He reached out to Peter and told Peter, if you believe in me, step out on the water. He stepped out on the water, and then when the wind begins to blow, he got a little shaky, began to sink. He reached up and said, Christ saved me, Jesus saved me. Okay, that's a physical part, but it's much deeper than that. Sometimes we don't go deeper than that. Sometimes we leave it where it's at. Hold on just a second. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, can I help you?
Yeah, my name is Megan, and I'm not particularly calling in the exact relation to your podcast,
Uh-huh.
but I am calling in direct with a question about my investigation. I am having my investigation for the Order of the Eastern Star, and I was just wondering if you could give me some insight on what it might be like.
What, as far as being initiated into the Eastern Star, as far as what?
Oh, it just as far as how the investigation goes.
Oh, the investigation part. Oh, okay. So are you looking at, oh, okay. So you want to talk about the investigation part.
Yeah.
Okay. So the investigation part, have you already put in an application to be a member of something?
Yeah, my application has already been approved, and tomorrow afternoon I meet with my committee.
Oh, okay. So look, I would say this in the investigation part. You would always. So let me understand this. You're being investigated, or are you on the committee?
I'm being investigated.
Oh, okay. So if you're being investigated, first of all, you want to make sure that your life is in order.
Definitely.
And I say that only because in this thing we call Freemasonry and the Order of Eastern Star, what we try to do is have like-minded people to be a part of the organization. If you're looking to do something positive in your life and you want to take that along with someone else on that journey, what I call the labyrinth of life, it's perfect. But if you're looking for some negativity, I wouldn't say don't do that to yourself. If you're looking to expound your knowledge, it's a great the Eastern Stars is great. But as far as the investigation part goes, they have questions that they will be asking you. One is, do you believe in God? Plain and simple. That's a yes or no. I mean, because God has many names to many different people, that would be something that they would probably ask. Then they would want to, are you married? That's something they will probably want to ask you. Kids, that family thing, because Masons Eastern Star believe in the cohesiveness of family. So there will be some of the questions they should ask you.
All right. Yeah, all of that is definitely what I'm expecting. I was just wondering if there's anything that would stand out or usually happens that people don't expect.
Well, what people don't there's nothing that you should not expect. If you have a good life and you're trying to do the right thing with your life, you should be good to go. That's the honest truth. It's those people who have what you call a shady past, But like I said, I still believe that everybody deserves a second chance. The ideal is are you willing to take that second chance? Are you willing to really do right by your life and by those who are willing to accept you and to help you do right by your life?
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. I wish you success, and definitely keep watching the show. And if I can be of any help to you, definitely call in. I don't have a problem with it.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Where are you calling from?
I'm actually from Colorado.
Okay. I think, you know what? You're going to get a kick out of being the Eastern Star.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, you are. And whatever you do, I would say this here. Always keep searching for that which is lost. Truth is lost. Keep looking for it. Find it. It's there in any and everything you do. All right?
All right, I agree. That's very good advice. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate it, and thank you for calling in.
Of course. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
So definitely, I want to appreciate the caller. She's a sister. She's from Colorado, and she's looking to become an Eastern Star. And it's great. And like I tell anybody, hey, look, this thing we call the Freemason Eastern Stars is a great fraternity. I know that there are some differences in the jurisdictions, but for the most part, man, it is great. So let me get back on topic tonight, talking about Freemasonry and the 666. And it's nothing bad. Let me clear the air on this. The mark of the beast, from a biblical point of view, I got that. I can kind of grasp and understand that. But it actually deals with the lower self, that beast that lives in you, the political system, that thing that becomes corrupt. How much is it going to cost me to corrupt you? Because when you really get into this thing, you're going to have to learn how to subdue your passion. And if you understand that fellowcraft degree, it's all encompassing of everything I'm saying here tonight. All right. So when we think of that 666, hold on just a second. Hello.
Good evening, Brother Hawkins. This is Brother Murray. How you doing today?
Hey, bro. How you doing today?
All right. I have a couple questions for you. One of the problems that we have in our jurisdiction, we had 3 brothers that wanted to come in from a different jurisdiction.
Uh-huh.
And one brother vouched for him.
Okay.
And so one of the brothers was vouched for, didn't have proper documentation. And so he wants us to believe that these brothers have documentation for us to be Master Masons. In the interview, we did question them up and ask questions regarding that. And the question came up again, show proof you have a traveling card or a dues card or a patent. They didn't have either one.
Okay, so what lodge are they coming from? What jurisdiction are they coming from?
They're coming from a 4-letter to another 4-letter.
Okay, so look, if you can't produce a patent or a dues card or certificate or anything saying that you have been initiated, passed, and raised, what lodge? I need the name of your lodge. Then if you give me that, then I can contact them for myself and see if you was on their roll.
Okay. Yeah, because what I want to do is we're trying to kind of what they said they haven't paid dues in 2 years, and what I told them, I said, well, the Mackey Jurisprudence says if you look at the laws, if you've not been a member of a year or anything like that, you're not less than a man because you haven't been in the lodge for over a year, correct? So when I started hitting them with that, they were like, okay, he's really going strict. But the only reason why I was trying to say this was trying to avoid Collins and eavesdroppers to come into our lodge. And produce that information. I don't know who you are. I just can't just believe what another brother's telling me. I need some documentation to say that.
Right.
Because we have internet that show people how to do certain things. So am I right about that? Or
you
what?
are right about that. I would tell you this here. Anytime someone is trying to say, hey, I was a Master Mason from such and such a lodge, I'm going to contact that lodge. They should have your name on roll.
We did contact the lodge. The lodge said they didn't have no information regarding them.
Well, that's a no-no.
Then that we could be on moving, right?
You keep it moving. Hey, bro, if y'all really want to do this, you got to start from the intern apprentice and work your way in. Okay?
Okay, that's what we thought.
Because me going by the book, the Q&A, you may have already have a book. You may have already read up on it. You may done those things. But I'll tell you this here. When you can't produce paperwork saying that you already were a Mason or an Eastern Star, no.
Right.
It's a done deal. It's a wrap. It's over,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because when I started reading the Mackey Jurisprudence, and you start following all the jurisdictions and the master's assistant, then, some of that stuff, there's no way possible I just can go by a brother's word, today's standards. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, Brother Hawkins?
Right.
And so now everybody's questioning, real strict because because these brothers are coming from a different jurisdiction. And I never seen them being raised as a fellow craft, a master mason. I never seen who they are. I'm just going by another brother's word, and that's not good enough for me.
Okay, and it seems to me that they were not in the military. Am I understanding that correctly?
Right.
Okay, so Alexander Fitzgerald, no, they were not in the military at all.
Right. No, they were none of them in the military.
Okay. And if they were not in the military, no, you got to start over. You got to go through the way we do things. Either you want to or you don't. If you don't, kick rocks and keep it moving. If you do, great. Let's make it happen. I want to see you in. I think you'll I think you would build the organization up. But other than that, no.
Yeah, because I questioned a couple of things, and my right worship master was just asking me, Brother Murray, just be consistent, and we want to keep peace and harmony in our lodge also, but I also don't want Collins and eavesdroppers coming in either. Everybody's, there's so much technology, and when you ask person to produce something and they can produce a dues card or a traveling card, that becomes an issue.
Wow. And that is true, but I'm reading this other. Boy, you guys done took me off my subject tonight.
I'm sorry.
No. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. I can always go back to it, and I don't mind people posting and asking questions. Like Jazz just asked, Craig just asked, if you are a registered sex offender, can you still be a Prince Hall Mason? I can't answer that for Prince Hall, but I'll tell you what. On this side of the square and the compass, no. If you are a registered sex offender, you can't be in this jurisdiction only because we have family, we have kids around all the time, and we don't want to entice you. We don't want to put our kids in harm's way, knowing that this is the type of lifestyle or this is something that you did.
Right.
I wouldn't want to do that to you. That's only it's just like taking a kid into a candy shop knowing that he wants candy. No, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it at all.
Well, I appreciate you, Brother Hawkins. You really enlightened me about some information. My brother Harris is always calling and checking in on you, so he told me to call and ask him. And I pretty much had the information down, so I just wanted to make sure that it was on the same page. Follow Mackey Jurisprudence, the bylaws, and the Constitution of our lives. That's what we have in the Master's Assistant. Okay. So, when you follow those things, because we're the new in this position, and people are trying to challenge us at this point in time. Okay. And so when you're trying to get challenged at this position, you want to follow the correct way of doing things, and everybody is not able to be a Mason. Right. And, right. So I'd rather have 99 turn around and be true Mason than have just bodies there. Because not everybody wants to put up the task work or putting the work in and study or reading up on their rituals and all of the things that are required for them in the first 3 degrees in the Blue House. That is true. And everybody doesn't want it. And everybody, it's hard today to have people to understand what you're saying. And only a true Mason will understand what you're saying, all the stuff that you have to read and understand and able to practice your degree. So that's what I was calling you about, Brother Hawkins. But I didn't mean to throw you off, but that was on my mind over the weekend because I got to submit my report on Tuesday night. So I just wanted to make sure that I was on the same page with everything. Oh, okay. Oh, you definitely on the same page. Let's rock that. So you have my number. Anytime you want to give me a call, you're certainly welcome to do so. Especially when I'm on live. I don't have no problem with that. Okay, Brother Hawkins, I got your number. I appreciate you for the advice and everything, good brother. Okay, you have a good one. Where you from? Executive 69. Okay, what state? California. Oh, California, man, you're right up the street. You're in LA? Yeah. Oh, okay. So look, we're gonna have to do lunch or breakfast, man. So don't be playing with me. I ain't got no problem. I ain't got no problem with you coming on down. I got a spot down in San Diego. Oh, I tell you what. After I end tonight, just give me a text. The same number you got, you can text me at that number. We'll chat afterwards. All right, good brother. Okay, then. The same. All right. So tonight, we're supposed to be talking about the number 666, but that ain't quite going that way. But we're going to get right back into it. The 666 and Freemasonry. Okay, so the vast difference between
the senses of gratification and love, which can be understood only when the spiritual consciousness from this center is developed. Okay, so when you're talking about that, the vast consciousness, I know a lot of us talk about the pineal gland, that gland that sits right in the center of the brain or the mind. That thing. We talk about. There's a word I'm looking for. Decalcifying. How do one decalcify that? Because what happens is as we get older, we're not able to absorb, to get in, to understand a lot of information, however it may be, and that's because that pineal gland is getting hard, or it has a lot of calcium buildup around it. It's in the food, it's in everything we eat. Once you're able to meditate, take yourself to a higher level of vibration, being able to raise your chakras, that's a whole nother thing. Then you can really understand that whole thing of the lower beast versus the higher consciousness of a man. Especially when you're able to break down the five senses, which you definitely, if in the fellowcraft degree, going to have to really understand. Okay, I'm not going to go through it as far as it relates to Freemasonry for those of us who are Masons, but we know how it relates to us and how deep it is. But a lot of times, a lot of us don't even want to touch the surface because, I'm a Mason now. I'm good. You're not good. If you're not able to talk about the hidden mysteries or the hidden meanings behind that which we seek, which we view, then why are you even a Mason? Why are you even an Eastern Star? I said, and I said until I can't say it no more. It's great to be a part of the organization, but it's also better to understand the organization for which you are a part of. So tonight, if you want to call in, we're talking about the 666 in Freemasonry. So the number tonight is 619-985-1184. So give us a call in if you want to talk more about it. Brother David Weatherspoon said, if you are a registered sex offender and the person you might lied about their age and even stated they lied about their age, does that still qualify a brother for being a Mason? Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it does. I don't know how we managed to get off on the sex offender thing, but we don't want to. That's not this topic for tonight. We're actually talking about 666 and how it relates to Freemasonry and the esoteric meaning behind it. Joseph Nas or Nays, Nanez, Joseph. Hey, bro, you know what? I don't want to have to delete you from the page, but I will. So please be careful of the language you're using. It won't be shown at this time. Thank you very much. So let's move on. So why are you saying Satanism? I'm not saying Satanism, not at all. I'm not saying Satanism at all. No sex offender should be in any lodge. Okay, we're gonna bypass the sex offender tonight. Please let that go. And we're gonna thank you there, Brother Joseph. We're gonna get right into this. Hold on just a second. Hello.
How you doing, Brother Tony?
Hey, I'm all right. Who am I speaking to?
This is Brother King Musa from Chicago.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Modern Mystic Mason. I'm good, man. I just see your topic. This is actually my forte.
Oh, is it your forte, huh?
Yeah, this is actually my forte. I see a lot of people commenting 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons.
Uh-huh.
That's already been debunked. It's just a metaphorical premise for people to stand on when they're talking about carbon-based energy.
That is true.
Yeah, but as far as 666 actually being associated with the 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons, that's a new implication to that theory of what that number means, because it's biblical in reference. And when you have biblical iconography like you got with the 666 number, one of the things I try to teach the brothers in the lodge, because our lodge is mystic, so instead of having a chaplain in our grand chapters,
Mm-hmm.
we have a theist.
Mm-hmm.
So the person is a theist. They're not a chaplain. So they have to be well versed in all religions, as well as the three main religions or the five main religions and their perspectives on esoteric thought.
Okay.
Bible having that 666 in it, it says that would be one of the recognizable marks of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
People to be, when the apocalypse came in the book of Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's everybody who knows me know I came out of Dr. York Nuwapian school.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote a book called Leviathan 666, where he gave a plethora of different breakdowns of the number 666.
Okay.
Like I said, 666 is something that is, again, it's like misassociating Baphomet, or the misunderstanding that people have of Baphomet.
Mm-hmm.
666 is often associated with Baphomet because of the teachings of Eliphas Levi,
Mm-hmm.
who within his own perspective, stood on a certain premise of what Baphomet represented, his idea.
So tell me this here. So when in the Bible, when in one of the scriptures, I can't call it right now, it says, here is wisdom, right? Let him that has an understanding count the numbers of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 666. So
Right.
what do you get out of that?
Well, the numbers that's 3 scored is 6. That's just 3 scored is like 6 to the third power. So they trying to say that's like 6 times 3. So for me, being the type of person I am, I understand a lot of numerology. If we talk about the 6 going into 3, and then that being the 18, and then 1 plus 8 equal 9, and that's
Right.
a perfect number which goes into itself and can always be divided, multiplied by itself. It's one of them numbers. So again, the interpretation of what 666 could actually mean, as far as like I think it's Genesis chapter 13. Don't quote me, but
Okay.
I think it's Genesis chapter 13 that actually says that. And it's just like the manuscripts in English, in the English translation of the Bible is 666, but we know in the Greek that it's not technically 666. That's why they say 6 scored.
Okay.
Because it's not actually that numerical value that they've given it. And then when you look at Pilate, and then when you look at Herod and all of these kings, like, I'm Muslim, right? I was born Muslim, and when I remember understanding, there was this brother by the name of Dr. Khalifa who came out in like 90 something. He wrote the
do me a favor, bro. Can you call another number that I have available for you, because I'm getting a lot of static feedback from this one.
Okay.
Okay, you can look at it. I'm gonna get ready to post it right now. You can take a look at it and definitely give us a call back. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm getting a lot of feedback. I appreciate it.
All right.
So he's going to be calling them back. We got another number we're going to let him call back on, because I don't know why I'm getting a lot of static from that line, but definitely we got this number that you can call into. So he was getting ready to break it down to us as far as the 666 was concerned, and I appreciate if he would give us a call back, and definitely let's have that conversation tonight. So once again, we're talking about the number 666 as it relates to Freemasonry. That call-in number is going to be 619-985-1184. So Jazz says, my grandfather was a Mason, my father was a Mason, and my brothers is a Mason. So I have an understanding that makes men better no matter what walk of life I come from. Am I wrong? It's not that you're wrong. And you know what? I must tell you, no, you're not wrong. However, if you've not been initiated into the into Freemasonry, even though you may think just because they are Masons that you have a better understanding, I'm going to disagree with that part. Okay? I'm just going to disagree with that part, because a lot of people think because they know someone who's a Mason and they hang around them and they may pick up little tidbits of things that in conversations or whatever, then they're considered the in group. They're in. No, that's the farthest from the truth. It's not so. So it says, how could those who had wisdom in the old days calculate the number of the beast if there was no periodic table? Oh, okay, yeah. Table to reference to. Well, bruh, I'm gonna tell you this here. In the words that the brother was speaking of, he was referenced that to the Greeks. Okay, as far as 60, and I think it's 60 something like that. I'm misquoting that. I know I am some type of way. Hold on just a second. All right, you're on.
Yeah. So as I was saying, the brother Dr. Khalifa, he taught the numerical value of the Quran and how the Quran operates under the sacred number of 19, and how the Surah 128 and 129 are added because of this addition to Quran.
I'm going to add somebody else to the line. Could you hold just for a second?
Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, you're calling in to the show tonight?
Yeah, I'm calling in for the show tonight.
Okay, so I'm getting some feedback. You might want to turn your volume down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to add you to another line, okay?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so brother King Musaf, you can go ahead and talk right now, and then the other brother can talk afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Khalifa, what he did was he introduced a numerical formula that showed that sort of the 128 and 129 was extra additions to Al Quran, and that because like I know like a lot of people that are Black Muslims, like they'll read like the Hadith and stuff, but like me personally, like I don't read the Hadith. Like I take certain parts, but I don't read the Hadith. What I read is Quran, and then I read other books in reference, like the Bible, the Torah. I might even read the Gilgamesh epics, the Enuma Elish, the Wahas, or the Vedas by the Hindus, just to give me an overall perspective. Because ironically, all of these religions speak of this beast number. All of them. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his mother and father were indeed not Muslim, so they were what were known as they were like they were like fortune tellers. I forget the word they use in Arabic, but they were like future fortune tellers or whatever, and they named him Muhammad ibn Abdullah because they knew that he was going to be the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that he was going to go against Hatib, which is, they say, a black man with red burning eyes with long flowing hair. He's supposed to be like the personification of who? The beast, Shaitan. So they try to say that black man is that beast that they talk about, and that the hadiths of Abu Qari, he says that the black man pointed to his own throat and said that, but surely we are the worst and the most hateful that Allah has created. And you know, me being a black male, I don't believe that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was white at all. That's why they try to put in the hadith he had white armpits and all of that. Yeah, we know he was a brother. He was a Nubian. He came from that part of the world where those people, before the Persians even came in and did all of that. So like understanding that, I'm gonna say this in closing, understanding that the beast number 6 or exists in these religions, because I'm gonna say something that's really controversial, but I don't care.
Go ahead, bro.
You know, these numbers, they all exist in religion because religions were created for politics. Okay. The Most High don't care what religion you in. When I read
the Wahhabis, or okay, put it like this: if you're a Sunni, Shia, Akwani, or any type of Muslim, you know that you have differences in your interpretation of Quran as opposed to another Muslim sect.
Mm-hmm.
So you read in the Quran, you can consider anybody else a kafir. Islam and Masonry is so similar. That's why Islam is a beautiful religion.
I'm going to say this. I had a brother. I wouldn't even call him a brother. I had an individual who was saying that you could not be a Mason and a member of Islam, period, no matter what fraction.
Yeah, it's haram.
You know.
It's haram. Like when I became a Mason, because my father's an imam, my father is a ulama. That's why I speak Arabic so good, because my father's an Islamic scholar.
Okay.
Like he's the one who interprets hadiths and all of that stuff.
Really?
So my father does that. So he speaks Fusik, which is the classical Arabic, and we know that the Quran was perfected in Timbuktu. Let me repeat that. The Quran in its purity was perfected in Timbuktu. This is a fact. This is why the richest person in the world was who? Mansa Musa. That's why I call myself King Musa. Not only because he was the richest person in the world, but because the Quran, when Abu Bakr and them was looking for the Khalifa, you know, they went to West Africa and sat amongst those Africans to learn how to speak proper Arabic.
Okay.
Do not let these Arabs fool you and make you think they own Islam. They don't. They do not own Islam. But as far as the beast goes, once again, the relationship between the number with the beast and all of that is relative because of politics. And that beast number is their way of trying to demonize all of our people in one light. That's just my interpretation. Someone else might have a different interpretation, but from my research, I see that this beast number is usually attributed to dark-skinned people with nappy hair and dark eyes, and I truly believe that it was the political ploy to take Africa. And that's why they are still in Africa and have never left, but moved us and moving everybody that's indigenous to Africa out of Africa with the theory that they are marked beasts.
That has been the concept throughout religion as we know it, be it the Protestant, the Catholic, but that has been that number. But in secretive, in the secrets of their own religion, they look up to us.
Yeah.
You know?
All the way. That's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wears a veil, because they know if they take that veil off, you'll see black.
That's it. So who else is on the other line right there? Was there somebody else on the other line besides yourself, King Musa?
I thought it was.
Hold on. He probably hung up. Hold on just a second, okay?
Okay.
Hello, caller. You've been at it. King Musa, you still on?
Yeah.
Well, you can continue to talk. I guess I lost his. I lost him.
So that's just like when anybody who's familiar with Eliphas Levi, the Church of Satan. I mean, not Eliphas Levi. Anton LaVey with the Church of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
He utilized the symbol of Baphomet created by Eliphas Levi to become the symbol of the Church of Satan. Baphomet is not satanic. The application of Baphomet has become satanic.
It has, because it's just like what gets me is when people take it. Some people have taken it and took it over and called it something else. You know, that's what they've done. I mean, just like some people said, bad is good now. Man, that's a bad car, meaning a good car, or whatever. You know, so they've taken those things and changed it into something that it's not. I remember when I was growing up, the word gay did not necessarily mean that a person had a certain way of life. It meant that person was a happy person.
Yep, a happy person.
You know, that person, he's so gay, he's so happy, he's all right. But now you call somebody gay now, oh man, we about to break it off, bro. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's definitely like that.
So go ahead.
No, what was he trying to say?
I was going to say that's what we have to look out for, you know, make sure that we have an understanding of the words that we talk about and when we say them, because a lot of people take words and they have like triple meaning, double meaning to them. It depends on your conversation.
Yeah, the ambiguity of the word is what trap people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why the Quran say that that it is unhealthy for a man to be double-minded. You know, to give a meaning to one thing and then mean it in another. But this is what the word kafir is, or kufr. It means to cover, or to seek, or to make secret, or to hide. And this is what I was saying about being Mason and being Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a Muslim and you cannot be a Mason, why? Because you cannot devout yourself to anything but Allah. You should not submit to anything but Allah. Like when I first...
But, okay, so you're saying that if you're a Muslim, you can't be a Mason. Am I understanding that correctly?
If you are Orthodox, if you identify as Sunni, Shia, Aqwani, you cannot be a Mason.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't, because it's haram according to Quran, not even Hadith. And they pointed out when they say that there should be no compulsion in religion and things of that nature, but there's compulsion in everything. We know that by human nature.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, when they say this is their perspective, because I obviously don't hold this perspective. That's why they often call me a kafir, a Sanji kafir, which is a basically they call me a black infidel.
Ooh.
A Negro. Zanji is an offensive word that means nigger.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever hear an Arab call you Abibi, that's slaves. If you ever hear them call you Mazu, that means that they're trying to figure out what it is that you is, because they know that you have to. So they don't want to call you a kafir because they see your potential. So instead, they call you Mazu, which is like divided, but a bridge in between the divide. So you're just like undecided.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you pointed that out, because the etymological root of words is important. That's what again, that's one of the things about proficiency of the craft that I think is missing with the youth. You know, a lot of brothers young like me, that's only 30, 31.
Mm-hmm.
Some brothers a little older than me, 34, 35, and they get their position as most worshipful master, or they hold any installed office, and they just learn the degree work for that.
Right.
And they can't remember none of the old catechisms from the EA or, you know, the intern print. They just can't. It's just certain things that I feel like once they got the rank, they just forgot. And Muslims, once you become a Mason, your mind will be opened.
Well, it does open your mind.
Outside of Islam, and that is a threat to them, because Muslims believe in a caliphate.
Okay.
Which is a empire.
Okay, so I want to recognize another caller on the line. What's your name, there, bro?
My name is Joey Turner. On YouTube, I'm Money Glitch God. I got a little bit of a following, but I am a Master Mason and an installed officer at my lodge in the Wisconsin jurisdiction.
Okay. So, King Musa, could you just hold for a second?
Okay.
Okay, so brother, what's your question for tonight?
I'm a little torn because I feel a little weird talking about Freemasonry on the internet, and it's been intriguing me lately, and I've been kind of on the fence whether I believe it is clandestine or okay, but I believe this to be enough regularly constituted brothers for me to bring this up. I hear a lot of religious talk. In my lodge, we don't do religion.
Okay.
In my blue lodge.
Mm-hmm.
In my blue lodge.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Freemasonry is not religion. And I hate to say this, but we have a term. Me and my worshipful master have a term. There's some people that come into Masonry and they just get it. And if you get it, you know what I mean.
Okay.
And then there's some people that we use the term pumpkin. Okay, so it seems like there's a lot that people try to decipher, but I feel like the real is inside of you.
It is. It is.
From the beginning.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to 666 and when it comes to Freemasonry, I feel like to truly understand, you have to go a level, you have to go beyond religion to truly understand. You have to, so me personally, I like to look at it scientifically, and I like to bring the G to stand for geometry.
Mm-hmm.
And like the brother mentioned earlier, with the periodic table, I mean, we're talking about 6 carbon, 6 proton, 6 electron. We're talking about 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. Now that's carbon, the 666. And the hidden knowledge and entertainment and our Bibles, and everywhere, from everything we've ever seen written and performed by anyone in a society, is always alluded to what you guys are calling the beast. But I honestly don't see the negative connotation.
No, we're not saying that there's a negative connotation with the number 666. What I'm saying is that you must understand that there's a beast that is in all of us. The ideal is that you take the principles of Freemasonry, or that which you learn in your degree work, to subdue that beast.
Our lower self. And we learned that in EA.
Absolutely.
We learned to subdue our passions. Definitely. And by the time you are raised as a master, I feel like there should be an understanding. Because first it's our word, then it's our body, then it's our soul.
But see,
so I feel like
what you're saying is absolutely correct. But what happens is most people don't get it because they don't apply that to Freemasonry. Most people want to become Freemason to be a part of a brotherhood or a group of people where they can probably hang out with, and they think they have arrived at something without even looking and indulging themselves in the very thing that they are a part of. A lot of people can't talk about the hidden mysteries and meanings behind the system of Freemasonry or the symbolism of Freemasonry because they don't know. The farthest they have gotten is to be a Master Mason, and they cool. They don't want to talk about that stuff because it's spooky to them. So this is why I titled this show 666 in Freemasonry, because there's nothing to be afraid of. My mom often said, "Don't be afraid of the dead, be afraid of the living." So and that's what we have to definitely take a look, because and I would say this, in Americanized Masonry, for those of us who understand the first, second, and third degree and what page of Bible it is open on, that's Americanized Freemasonry. But when you are outside of what I call Americanized Freemasonry, you can go into some lodges and they will have a book on the altar, various books open on various scriptures in those holy books. But we get so caught up in like I said, Americanized Freemasons too, we tend to forget that Masonry is bigger than where we at.
Way bigger.
My hope is that somehow we can understand that and begin to really enjoy the craft. Beyond my jurisdiction or your jurisdiction. When you're able to do that, man, it becomes wide open. Like the young lady said tonight, she's being investigated tomorrow in regards to becoming an Eastern Star. My thing is for her is that when that happens and she becomes an Eastern Star, I want her to be able to enjoy being a member by understanding what she's a part of.
I have a question of you, sir. This is my real question. Now
Go for it.
Warmed up a little bit. Is it important to understand the difference between Luciferianism and Satanism? Because if you look in the chat, people always accuse Masonry of being devil worship.
I know.
It's a total myth.
I know.
A total myth.
It
and
is.
They think Lucifer and Satan is the same being.
And it's not.
The Bible that I read does not read that way.
Nope.
So I think the problem is, it sensationalizes people to see 666. It sensationalizes people to hear anything about a devil or anything like that. How can we get over the sensationalism to let the beauty of Freemasonry really improve ourselves in the world through us?
But we have to be able to exhibit that, be the example. And if you can't be the example, then this is what people are going to see. See the Masons, man, all they do is drink, man, get high, and they're in the club, But even if you go to a club, even if you go to a social event, it's how you carry yourself. You're the example. So if I'm the example of how a Mason is supposed to carry himself, and my wife is the example of how Eastern Star is supposed to carry herself, then they can say, well, dang, I like that. I want to be a part of that. you know. So that's how you have to do that. I mean, other than that, you're going to always get the sensation about Masons being Satan worshippers and what Lucifer, and you're going to always get that. It was here before I got here.
About that?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, there's a distinct difference between Luciferianism and Satanism outside of the theological perspective.
Right.
When you are a Luciferian is one who rebels against they're anarchists. Luciferians are anarchists. They do not believe in the constriction or the restriction of information in any form. They believe that all information should be shared, whether it's Masonic information, Shriners information, Rosicrucian information, Knights of Temple, whatever. They don't care. They be like, oh, it's sacred. Well, if it's sacred, teach everyone else so they can reach your divinity. This is the mindset of the majority of Luciferians. Now, Satanists are theists like Luciferians because their doctrine cannot exist outside of the Bible. This is another point I want to point out when the brother asked, how do we separate certain things? The people who read Albert Pike's book, Dogma.
I have it sitting in front of me, sir.
And they misquote or misinterpret what he's saying. What Albert Pike is doing is what all of us are supposed to do. We're supposed to question things.
Right.
He proposed a question, and the question that he proposed did not go into detail. He basically proposed a question and then made a statement. And that question and statement was then took to, look, Freemasons worship the devil when they get to the 33rd degree. They think Lucifer is Halal. Halal in Hebrew means he that bears light. This is why in the book of Genesis, they say in Hebrew, oh, Halal, how have thou fallen?
Right.
Because you are the bright and morning star. You're bright. The Satanist doctrine versus Luciferians don't necessarily believe in God or the devil. They believe in the principle that Lucifer stood for, and they know that its origin comes out of Judaic teachings. So because they know its origin comes out of Judaic teachings, all of its cross references is going to be from Judaic teachings, from the Zohar, from the Torah, the Tanakh, and the Talmud. They are going to go to Kabbalah and Klipit and go into other forms of esoteric studies when you're talking about Judaism, because it is esoteric. That's why when you go into the Red House, you get more Judaic teachings as opposed to when you go the traditional route, when you get into the more Christian teachings. You know, most people think going the Scottish right route will introduce you to Islam, but what it actually introduces you to is Judaism. It introduces you to Judaism and what some would consider as per se imperial.
Well,
so,
see,
again, when you,
that is why you just said something that's very important. That is why most people who are Jews don't go York right. They go Scottish right.
Yeah, because it contradicts with what they believe.
Absolutely.
See, the stipulation is that we have and I like the fact that the brother said the thing about religion, and then I liked how he countered it and said, well, Masonry is bigger than America, because I've met Masons from Ghana, West Africa, who are practicing voodoo in their lodge.
Yeah, I've heard.
Like,
Lord of mechanics.
yeah, and me being an initiate of multiple. See, and that's the thing, like being a person who was born in a Muslim and has a mind of my own, I initiated. I took other oaths. I took other creeds and things like that to initiate into these orders. So by virtue of being Muslim, I was performing shirk. I was becoming haram. I was performing an unclean act. I wasn't being halal. I wasn't being good. So for me, as a born Muslim, religion plays a part. Being a Christian, religion plays a part. Being Jewish, religion don't really play a part, because once you understand that Jews don't carry the same concepts as Christians or Muslims, you will understand why they just play the middleman. And then you'll understand why religion will always be a key point in the development or uplifting through these brotherhoods, because religion is political.
It is.
There's no politics in Freemasonry, but if there was no politics in Freemasonry, we would have amity with our brothers from PHA. We would have recognition from every other Masonic body if it was not
politics.
It is all political. Religion, I wanted to be a sheikh. I wanted to come up and become a sheikh. I wanted to teach al-Islam to black people, and I, more importantly, wanted to teach them Arabic, because there's a lot of Muslims that don't know Arabic, and according to Quran, that's haram. You cannot read the Arabic if you're not reading it in Arabic first, because that's the language it was revealed in. That's why if you go to Muslim mosques that are Arab run or ran by black Arabs from Arabia or Ethiopia or Eritrea, they'll often read the Quran in Arabic first, and then they'll give you the English translation. That's why you find certain Muslims are super proficient in Arabic, because all they go to the mosque is Ya Muhammad Ikra, you know what I'm saying? Bismi Rabbika Ya Kalaka. You know, they hear that all day. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the Prophet Muhammad to read. What is read? Ikra. He told him read read in the name of your Reb. And how do you say that? Muhammad Ikra Bismi Rabbika. You have to learn that. Why? Because words are important.
Words are important.
And the Hebrew characters and the Arabic characters are sister languages like French, Spanish, and Italian. So when you say alif in Hebrew, you're saying alif in Arabic.
Wow.
When you say yad, you're saying yod. There's only a difference in vowel placements, because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taken to Walaka by his wife Khadijah to find out if he was a prophet or not.
Whoa.
He had to go to the Jews to find that out. And because Christians and Jews were in Mecca and Medina at the time, they say that they developed this religion called Al-Islam to push the blacks out. This is my old Imam's theory. He said, and he's a black Muslim who teaches Islam. He is a devout Muslim, but he says he feels when the Quran was developed, not Quran, I'm sorry, I said Quran, Hadith. He said when Hadith was developed, the Hadith was developed as a political ploy to dethrone the black Muslim Arabs that was in power. Because you have to remember, before the 13th century, slavery in Africa was almost non-existent.
That's true. Man, listening to you two tonight, I'm learning a lot. And this is the great thing about the show, is that we're open to that. If a brother or a sister want to call in, you want to talk, that platform. We want to hear, because what happens is in most lodges, in most Eastern Star chapters, a lot of this would get shut down. A lot of this.
True. The fear of losing membership.
Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest.
We don't talk like this in open lodge.
Oh,
but
no.
I would also like to say we have to get away. Like, I understand your position and your unique way that you learned through your father and being so closely tied and speaking fluent Arabic. But I like to tell you that, there's a whole world of Masons like myself, and we don't get down with religion at all. And, that's why I wanted to talk about, the other side.
So are you Gnostic or are you atheist? Because the stipulation of being a Freemason.
I have a strong belief in God. I'm a Luciferian, though.
Oh, okay, man, you're on the same boat then.
Well, the brother that said he's a Luciferian, I'm interested. What lodge you from? What jurisdiction?
I'm in Wisconsin. I'm at lodge number 55 in James, Wisconsin. I'm the current senior deacon, and we do not talk about this in lodge. But the brothers know what's up, and there's a lot of brothers who are Christians, and they go there, They do their Christian thing, and they're York right, and that's fine. And we get along fine. We have breakfast every Saturday. We've never had a hiccup. Our beliefs on that level. Like, I'm trying to wonder at what point do you tie in religion at any lodge, because
let me tell you this here. You asking at what point do you tie religion into the lodges, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm asking for real.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what happens in most predominantly African American, be it Prince Hall or be it Ancient Free and Accepted or be it modern or international. I'm going to tell you because I know from experience and I've seen it for myself. At the end of prayer, they say, in the name of Jesus. Period. So once you introduce that, you have introduced religion into your lodge. Then
that's Prince Hall. That's Prince Hall, because I'm 4-letter and we don't.
I'm just saying. Then what happens is you have this thing we call St. John's Day. St. John the Evangelist, St. John the Baptist. If you are a part of most Ancient Free and Accepted, International, Modern Free, PHA, they believe in going to church in regards to the St. John's Days. One is in June, one is in December. Now, the hidden meanings behind one is that one is I want to say St. John the Evangelist is more of the spring, when things spring forward.
John the Zebedee.
Right. That means coming to life. St. John the Baptist is more of death. Things are dying in the winter. You can't do a whole lot in the winter. But what is missing is that we don't understand why we even celebrate those days.
Exactly.
And it is not being taught why we celebrate those days. So this is how religion is introduced into Freemasonry. And this in itself interrupts the construct of Freemasonry, because it gets passed down. You got to go to St. John's Day. Even I was like that at one time. You know, St. John's Day, we are so. I'm like, yeah, hallelujah. I'm in it. But as I matured in Freemasonry and began to look at what this thing is all about, I kind of pulled back a little bit. Do we still have St. John's Day? Yes. We do two types of St. John's Day. First, my brothers who are of the Hispanic ascent, a big shout out to the Grand Lodge of North America, my Hispanic brothers, they do St. John's Day on an esoteric level. They burning incense, they burning cotton represents life. They doing all of that. Okay? Now,
that's that Santeria.
Right.
That's
absolutely.
That Santeria that Lugomi in there.
Correct.
And the tradition plays a part. And like you said, certain people, they like the brother asked, how does religion play? Religion plays in every intricate, essential part of Freemasonry, shrinery. Listen, if you learn about the hashish, you will see the first time that the Knights Templar made amity with them Arabic brothers, and that's how the concept of the Arabic of the mystic shrine came. But them brothers existed thousands of years before what we call the establishment of Freemasonry to protect the Kaaba, when they had 360 deities in there already before the Prophet Muhammad came to establish that. To not know the accurate historical references of correlation to your Masonic work is to not only negate the fact that Masonry is born out of the religious beliefs.
Right.
Why? Because Masonry is symbolism and allegory. Religion is nothing more than symbolism and allegory. This is why, even from a intellectually honest perspective, I know for a fact that they have never found the body of the majority of the people that they say existed from them scriptures. There's no archaeological.
That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, but see, that's why I'm a Luciferian.
We're going to begin to the meeting of Constantine and the manipulation that came.
325 AD and all of that. And then we can also get into the development of the Quran in that same meeting.
Yes, sir, we can.
Then you'll be bothering people that are not ready. And I think what Masonry does when it takes you through the levels, it prepares you to open your mind that religion is not exactly what you think it is. And by the time it's over, you'll be like Brother Tony Muhammad. I've been following this brother for almost 2 years on my old Facebook page.
Wow.
Because I was doing something. I didn't want to ask you directly, because I was doing a lot of work with the youth tip, a brother by the name of T.O. Hardman, who was running for governor here. We used to do a lot of work with the Fraternal Order of Police. And one of my homies' dad, he's in the Fraternal Order of Police, and he's friends with you on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And Yeah, so I seen some of your stuff, and I was like, I like this, brother, but I like more importantly the way you try to bring objectivity and unbiasedness to the information of Freemasonry.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
That's important, because if you like the brother said, most people are turned off by certain organizations because of their intertwinement with religion. They like, man, if I'm leaving religion or if I'm leaving an organization I feel is like it's not helping me grow, why would I come to another organization that's going to stagnate my growth in the same way and make me spiritually dead? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said he came to raise the spiritually dead. That's why the entire structure of the Nation of Islam is Masonic. That's why they say the most honorable Elijah Muhammad only had a 3rd grade education.
Yeah.
But he was able to raise the dead. Just like we learn that when we look into the Bible and we start to understand the allegories of Jesus and Lazarus, we start to understand certain things. So we have to incorporate religion, because religion is what dictates and mandates the morals of human beings in a functional civilized society. You can't go to any society that is completely atheist ever. You won't find one. Why? Because they understand that in order to set forth a form of morality, you have to have an example that cannot be accessed.
So I want you to speak on one more thing before I let you go, and I think a lot of people want to hear this then, because you alluded to Christ or Isa or whatever you guys refer to.
Isa ben Miriam.
Isa, yes, you are educated, but there's a lot of things I don't want to step into on this platform. But here's what I will say: was Jesus a Christian?
No.
I'll say that wholeheartedly. No.
Because what did Jesus believe? What was he?
He was an Israelite. He kept the Sabbath. Kept the Sabbath. He was a part of the Essene Council. That's why he had to go to Egypt for 12 years.
So should Jesus' followers be Christians, or should they be?
No, they should be Jews. They should be Israelites.
Exactly. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah, they should be Israelites for sure, because Yeshua HaMashiach, who they are calling Isa ben Miriam or Aisos in Greek, he came to not do away with the law, but fulfill it. The word that they use for fulfilling in Hebrew is lachom, and lachom means to show by example. It does not mean to do things in a different way. That's why when the Sadducees and the Pharisees confronted him, they said, blasphemy. This man calls himself God, and he is not even a boy. They say in the Hebrew he hadn't even had his mitzvah yet. You feel me? And this is why it's important that the brother Tony pointed out St. John's Day, because there's a difference between St. John the Baptist and John son of Zebedee. You know, who they call John the Evangelist is John son of Zebedee. John son of Zebedee is the one who actually came, and the revelation in Revelation chapter 1 verse 1 was revealed to. That's the John they're talking about, not John the Baptist. So, like, I don't even want to get into all that, but at the end of the day, it's like Judaism is very esoteric, Catholicism is very esoteric, and Islam is very esoteric. Their children are Protestant, Lutheran, Baptist, Evangelist, Sunni Shia, Qawani, and Ahmadiyyan. These are the children. And then you got your Sephardic, your Khazars, and then you got your Orthodox Jews, and then you got your Amharic Hebrews that are actually the true children of Israel. So
13 tribes.
Yeah, and you know the original tribe from Ibrahim's daughter.
So you said, wait a minute, I'm gonna bring something forward. So you spoke about the 13 tribes, whereas we all know, for those of us, if you have studied the fellowcraft degree, which deals in the arts and sciences, that there may be a 13th planet.
Oh yes, it is for sure.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying now. See, but that's the thing about the Freemasons and what we are supposed to be about. If we can only really take that to heart, the construct with Freemason would be so much better. But with the political aspect of it, it has us at a divisive point of view, dealing with the teachings of your lodge, where you can't talk to that brother, you can't talk to that sister because they're this and that. However, the principles and teachings of Freemasonry more than likely doesn't go with our own personal point of views. It doesn't. Including in my Grand Lodge. I'm just going to be out front. In most Grand Lodges, the teachings and principles of the of Freemasonry don't go with what you stand by. It doesn't. We take that and flip it.
With the bylaws.
Absolutely. With our bylaws. That's what we do.
But looking through the bylaws all the time.
But see, this is the uniqueness of understanding the ancient customs of Freemasonry, because long before this system that we have now, there was Freemasonry. Including amongst Jesus and his disciples, per se, and amongst John the Baptist and his disciples. You got to realize they were part of this secret society, because what did they teach? They didn't teach what they taught amongst themselves to everybody else.
Nope.
But
that's
everybody
told, don't go to the Gentiles. Go on to the
most. Had a lodge of 12, so they could have had a lodge of all 3 in there.
Yeah. No.
Hey, I love you, brothers, man. This has been a great talk. I'm gonna excuse myself from the call, but I appreciate you both very much, and thank you so much for this spiritual enlightenment. I'm going to be checking into the channel all the time, and yeah, I appreciate you.
Well, welcome, and I thank you for calling in. So if I got another line that's open. If you want to call in to 619-985-14, you're certainly welcome to do that, and we will add you on. So we just want to have some understanding in regards to the 666 and Freemasonry. How does that relate? We're brought in and we've talked about Islam. We've talked about quite a bit tonight. And just to stay on topic and understanding what we were talking about, one brother said that the morning, Venus being the morning star, he brought that up. And somebody said, no, that's not true. But if you get up in the morning early, you will see a star that is brighter than any other star out there. Almost is glittering almost. So we really have to look at this thing we call Freemasonry and see it for not just being part of this thing we call a society of secrets, but being part of something that is bigger. When you look up in the heavens, you see all of these stars, but they're so far apart, but yet look so close together. And to me, I see Freemasonry that way. And I believe this is why they say Masons met up on a star recovery deck, on a high hill or low valley. So they can I would say can get a better view of what their lodge look like. Because a lot of people are stuck in a wall, they're stuck in a building with 4 walls and call themselves in a lodge. It's just my opinion. So, who's online right now? You still online there, Brother King?
Yeah, I'm still here, bro.
Oh, okay. So, Brother Illuma, I'm about to block somebody off this illuminating light that is the Bible, one of the 3 lights of free. Okay. Yeah, I'm about to block somebody. I had to block somebody earlier coming in here with a lot of this foolishness, and I will do it again. Please, let's have an understanding that this platform is open to everyone, but we would definitely be respectful of what we post. I just want to make that clear. So we've been on here for about 1:23. We got a few more minutes left. So if anybody else want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. That number to call in is 619-985-1184. We're talking about 666 and Freemasonry, and how does all of this play a part in this great fraternal order? Because there's a lot of misinformation, misconnection in regards to Freemason. Hold on just a second, okay?
Yep.
All right, you're on. How can I help you?
What's going on, brother? Peace, brother X. You know what I'm saying? Called in a minute ago, calling back again.
All right, brother X, talk to me.
What's going on? No, yeah, man, I'm feeling the episode tonight. This is what I'm talking about. This is the bill I'm talking about right now. Like, now we talking about the goodies, you know what I mean? The nooks and crannies of this, like you say, this thing we call Freemasonry. I just wanted to make a quick statement about something, just to bring you to some Somebody told me this, and I read it, and I said, damn, I can't believe I missed that. Now, let me ask you this, right?
Go ahead.
We're talking about Lucifer. Right? Now, within Lodge, right? Well, first of all, Lucifer is the light bringer, right? That's what we say, right?
Go ahead.
Now, in the Lodge, who's the one who turns on them lights?
Well,
right? We know who it is, right? We know who turned on the lights, right?
Okay.
That's a bringer of light. I'm just saying, right?
Okay, go ahead.
That's all I'm saying. I mean.
Okay. Okay.
And where does he sit?
Okay.
Exactly. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, man. This is what I'm alluding to, is that the senior deacon, I'm gonna just blatantly say it was representative of Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
If you really look at it, and if you want to look at it planetary wise, it also represents the planet Mercury, because the messenger of the gods, and he's going back and forth delivering the messages to and from the east. So I mean, and he carries the rod, the staff of Mercury, anyway. So,
he does, but see, here's the thing: a lot of people don't get into the astrology side of that to understand the esoteric side, how it applies to your lodge. And what you're saying is absolutely correct. But how many people can actually break that down in their lodge without spooking the hell out of those who are in the lodge?
But why are they spooked out though?
Because
they're not studying their esoteric knowledge, and the people who run in the lodge ain't willing to shed the light on them or create an atmosphere where it be acceptable. I think a lot of that lies with on the people who actually are in position of leadership in the lodge. As far as the Grand Lodge though, obviously, because if you're in a subordinate lodge, you got to be in correlation. But I'm just saying, I think that's something that comes from the top down. Because me coming from an esoteric Grand Lodge, all of the subordinate lodges under us in Chicago, we like the first of our kind. Like, everybody don't like us. And our Grand Master was raised rightly and just in a mainstream lodge. We got amity with a mainstream lodge, but there's other brothers that don't recognize us because of the way we do esoteric things in our lives. Like, they just be like, well, that's not Freemasonry. We like, well, we got French rights, which is what we tell them. We got French rights. Our rights are French. They're not American. So, of course, our lodge ain't going to operate like yours. We amity with the Orient and stuff like that. We're not seeking amity from the Grand Lodge anymore.
But see, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, and I want people and brothers to realize Masonry is bigger than where you're at. And just like the brother just said, they have amity with the French. So they practice a French rite of Masonry. Most of us practice an Americanized type of Masonry. And some of us go beyond that and practice that thing they call over in Haiti, voodoo type of Masonry. So when you're looking at Freemasonry, it is so broad, it is so beautiful, but yet it is very similar wherever you go. There's some things that don't change.
Yeah, very similar. And like I said, some lodges just stress more esoteric value than others. You know, like you stress a lot of esoteric value as an individual. So I could just imagine you coming to another person's lodge that has that type of atmosphere. They would love you, be welcome with open arms. But then I could also see, like you said, why some brothers would be spooked out, because I think the reason they in Freemasonry may be different than mine. Mine was to seek knowledge. It was to break the chains of ignorance. I came into Freemasonry to have the light shed, to remove that cornerstone. I could see the light.
But see, this goes when a person reaches to what we call a 32nd degree Masonry. Even though he is still what you call semi-frozen or still frozen, yet it is even stated in the 32nd degree that you are fighting against ignorance, stupidity, and it begins with an F. I can't even think of the name of the word. But those are just some of the things that you fight against as a 32nd degree Mason. So when you get there, and this is why sometimes people say, well, you don't know. But when you get there, you understand that this thing here is a lot different than anything that you want to be a part of. Because what I thought today, the more I read, It may not be that way in a few more days because I'm study indulging myself and finding books to enlighten me on certain things, and my whole perspective may change because of information, because of things I've read, and because of my own research. And that's what's important when we do this thing. So, brother, that's on the other line. He said that you practice a French type of Mason. Somebody wanted to know what jurisdiction you're from.
I'm from Chicago.
Okay, and that's well, because the brother was asking what grand. I'm see, traveling man asked what grand lodge does the caller hail from?
Yeah. I think he's asking your obedience, brother. Yeah.
Oh well, like I said, our obedience in particular, we're esoteric lodge. We got a blue lodge, which is what I'm a part of, and then we have a grand chapter because again, we're a chapter who got amnesty and recognition through the French order.
Oh, okay. So y'all, okay. I see what you're saying now. So
because we had to produce a certain type of we had to produce obviously a certain amount of members, certain curricula, and we had to send in rituals. It was a whole thing. I helped with that process, so I know how it went.
So you are a part of the French rites of out of France, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I understand now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so being for those people who don't know, if you ever do the cryptic rites, not cryptic rites, what's the word I'm looking for? The primitive rites. If you've ever done the primitive rites, that's a French rite. So some of the stuff that the rite of Mizraim and stuff like that, like if you get into like all of the Egyptian occultic type of things, a lot of stuff come out of France. They're the ones who were really into opening the door for Haitians because France and Haiti were always in sharing information as far as like when it came to like the 3 degrees that they got a Papa Legba, Balance Samzi, and Mekafu Bobo. So you got them 3 because I practice Haitian voodoo. So
if you could just put that in history, man. That's why I know brothers that do that heavy.
Yeah, that's why I said being born Muslim, I'm considered a kufr because I practice a lot of things that they would consider me associating partners with Allah. So,
hey, King Musa, there's a question for you. If you would read the comments, I just posted a question for you.
Oh, okay, I'm reading now. Yeah, I'm black. What did it say?
It's what is your views?
Oh, the Mahdi? The coming of the Mahdi?
Yes.
The coming of the Mahdi, that's open for everybody's interpretation, brother. That's not even a thing I want to get into.
Okay, so what is your view on it says I don't even want to pronounce that word, but it's Islam. It's Anamida Islam.
Yeah, it's pronounced Mahdi actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So somebody was asking, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I don't like. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm a controversial Muslim, so I don't even want to get into like the critiquing of Islam because at the end of the day, all it would do is anger any devout Muslim. So
right. Okay. I can respect that.
And because I respect Islam, so it's never my job to come and try to decimate something that does not have racism. I just want to say this: Islam does not influence racism. Hadith does.
All right.
Only Hadith does that. Islam, the Quran, it within itself is a perfect book of guidance, and it is without contradiction, and it does not promote racism. I just want to say that.
Okay, so I'm going to answer this question right here. It says, how do you go about shedding light on those topics with older brothers? Well, for one thing, there are some older brothers who already know. All right. I would say that. I won't put them all together. I won't say all older brothers don't know. But if you are black, and I would say this because of what I do know, if you are black and you are of the age of, let's say, 60 on up, more than likely, and you have been brought up in church, this topic here, you probably want to shake your head at it for a lot of us. And that's just the truth. It's because of what we've been taught. A lot of us grew up in church and never do anything but church. But when you go outside of that, you will see that it's so much different. You know, you begin to even question your own religious belief, because you will come to find out there's over several hundred different religions. Period. So this is, you know, that's a man, that's a tough question to answer. To be truthful, how do you shed light on this topic with older brothers? You have to tread, you have to almost walk on water. Give them a little bit at a time.
I think for me, what I do with elders is I show them the connection and correlation between the primary monotheistic religion being Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Then I show them the correlations and correspondences that they have with Zoroastrianism and Hinduism. And then from there, I show them the correlations that Zoroastrianism got with Hinduism and Kemetic ontology. Mm-hmm. Once I do that, I kind of course them through it. Like I do courses because, like I said, I come out of the School of Wunawap. So by me being a student of Dr. York, I was always like questioning everything. So like when I give lectures, my lectures would say, "Is Jesus God?" or "Does God have a beginning?" and things like that. By people coming to challenge the question, mm-hmm. I'm able to present factual, historical, documented information that they cannot deny. Whether they want to accept it or not is another thing. But mm-hmm. they can't deny it. They can't deny the correlation. They can't deny the etymological root. They can't deny the cultural significance and similarity between certain things. They just see it, and then now you got them in a space where they're either going to accept what they found or they're going to not accept what they find. And then you tend to see a lot of those brothers, they don't really want to speak to you at all once you crush their belief, because shedding too much light is hurtful for weak eyes. You have to be careful when you're trying to expose people. Like the brother said, sometimes you got to tread on water, because, man, you shed too much light. You've been in the dark all day. Your mama come in there and flick the light on when you was a kid. Get up, it's time for school.
Cause you some blindness.
Yeah, that's how it is when you coming into the new information that may exist in your own religion. This mm-hmm. is why Lutherans, Protestants, they all debate who their mother and father, which is who the Catholic Church. They all point out the differences that they spored out of that particular organization. And then the Catholic Church rarely wants to argue with the Coptic Church because they know they'll lose the debate. Mm. That's like the Muslims rarely want to debate Catholics. They'll debate Christians, but they won't debate Catholics, and they won't debate Jews as far as origin of doctrine. What they will debate is the Trinity. They'll debate other things, but they won't debate origin of doctrine. So if you're trying to shed light on people, I think you should start in an area that's make them comfortable. Like my mom, a preacher, I showed her this thing of Jesus in the shroud one day, and I was like, introducing my mom into the concept of Black Jesus, because my mom's 61 years old. So,
well, she should be still on point though. She's still young, bruh.
She is, but my mother's been an evangelist for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
So she has a certain thought process of how spirit works, how God works, how the love of Christ works. So for me to introduce imagery to her is within itself not a good thing, because she'd be like, Jesus ain't got no image. I'm like, Mom, but he existed, so he had to take a form. So what form do you think he had? And my mom be like, it don't matter. And I'll be like, it do matter, because images leave the mind with
images are very important.
And she was just like, woo. So I think once I started to introduce her to the factual, I presented information in favor of Jesus. I was like, look what I found as a Muslim. For the Christians, I was trying to prove something about Muhammad, but look what I found, this amazing truth about Jesus. Now my mom want to listen, because I done put Jesus in the light she want him in. Uh-huh. So if you're trying to expose people to new truths in their religion, you should put their religion in a positive light and present the information to them. And slowly, and this they call it a snake tactic, but it worked. Slowly show them or expose what it is you want them to see about their religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it'll just open their mind and they'll start having questions. Because they'll be like, hey, man, remember you said this? Well, I looked that up, man, and that's true. I looked it up in this language and that language, and I can't find a different definition. So this is really what this means, huh? Why my preacher never told me that? Why my imam never told me that? And people had those problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of those things, especially if you want to organize religion like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, that has set rules and set moral principles that they think that are only exclusive to them.
Right.
That's another hard thing. Like with debating a Muslim, Muslims take what we call denotive. I forget what it's called, but anyway, they have another thing where they have a different form of reasoning and logic. Where, like, say for instance, if I say, "What are you?" and you say, "I'm a man," and I'll be like, "Okay, as a man, do you think A, B, and C is right?" And then you'll say, "No, obviously." And they say, "Well, where did you get that morality from?" And then you'll be like, "Well, my mom taught me." And then they'll ask you where she get it from. And then you'll be like, "Crazy." And they will be like, "Get out of here. There was something wrong with you." Because they had to question him. They asked him 3 questions.
Uh-huh.
And these 3 questions that they answered was going to solidify whether or not Prophet Muhammad was a prophet or not. And the Jews had their own techniques and morals about how they did things. So they went and they said, "Oh, well, boom, boom." And then after the Prophet Muhammad died, they created the Quran. And then almost 100 years later, they created the Hadith.
But as brother Brandon Lewis just stated, most of us don't learn until we ask why. And this is why in most lodges, they don't go into the esoteric or any of that, because most brothers don't ask why. Most brothers don't bring it to the forefront. This goes abroad. It doesn't matter what jurisdiction you're in. It's just the idea that most of them don't ask why. They just think this is the way it's supposed to be. But when you begin to indulge yourself in the very thing that you are talking about, then you get the different perspectives. I'm going to say this here before we get ready to sign off. We got about a couple more minutes left. So I'm going to go ahead and let you two go. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes apiece to go ahead and say whatever you have to say, because we've almost been on this thing about 2 hours. And it's late on the East Coast and it's getting late here on the West Coast. So go ahead. Give me some closing remarks. I appreciate it. Did I lose you? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, for the opportunity to be on your platform and share some of my information that I got. And anybody that's looking to perfect themselves, you have to understand that that's your own individual journey. It's the long journey on the short path. I learned the helping hand I was looking for was at the end of my own arm. So, with that being said, the true light is you. Light can only be found in darkness, which is why we are in Masonry. So, it's time for us to, just be that upright example. And, I just want to thank you again, Brother Tony Muhammad, and bless you, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. King, go ahead. Talk to me.
I just spoke, though.
Oh, who else is on the line? That's it? Nobody else is on the line? All right. It don't seem like... Am I interrupting? Go ahead.
No, I said he must have hung up.
Oh, okay. So, look, we're going to go ahead and close out tonight. I want to say thank you to coming on. I appreciate it, and I think that the information that is here tonight, and if somebody want to go back and watch this video, I think they'll get a lot out of it. We covered a lot of ground. Even though at times we got off the subject, I definitely want to stay close to the topic as possible. I want to appreciate the 2 brothers that was online sharing their light and their knowledge. This was a great show, and we're going to continue to do the same by bringing in some teachings in regards to what we're all about. So as I get ready to close out, I definitely want to send a big shout out to all of my brothers of the craft and sisters of the order. And as always, stay out the bushes and keep your light on. Until we see each other and meet each other, Let's make sure that we remember each other in prayer. I'm out.